All right, Steve, I'm gonna get ready here.
All right.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. This one's on. There's that. All right. Hello, everybody. How is everybody today? Let me make sure you're on here real quick. Alrighty. Give me 1 second here. All right, you're on. All right. How is everybody today? First off, let me wash my hands. So today we're not doing a whole bunch. I'm just going to do some Dutch potatoes. Actually, I'm going to do them the original way they should be made. And then I'm also going to do a couple in the oven, which is not normally what you do. But they'll come out the same way. These are just going to go in the oven for a little bit. So you'll see what I mean when I get there. All right. First of all, so what I did was I took 5 pounds of potatoes. It's 4 to 5, but I did do 5 pounds. You parboil them. You don't want them completely falling apart soft, and you got to make them pretty thick. That you do have to do. It has to be pretty thick for this, because otherwise they'll fall apart. Okay. I'm just going to put that up on there for the moment. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. So I parboiled my potatoes. I'm going to turn this on. We have to fry these potatoes up. So, like I said, I'm going to do it the original way, and I'm also going to do it with bacon in it. Let me get my thing. These are called Dutch potatoes. Let's put this over here. So what I'm going to do is I have them going there now. I did do an onion. That will go in a little bit. So I'm going to put these potatoes in here in this fry pan. And we're going to fry these up. I need some butter. I need some parsley. And I need some paprika. I think I have parsley right here, but I don't know if I have them. Like there's some parsley. Okay. So. All right, so you're supposed to fry these in butter. Like I said, these are parboiled, so they're 3/4 of the way done. What I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to get them to brown up. I am going to put some salt and pepper on them. And then I did put some olive oil in there. But I'm going to put some of this butter in there also. Let me get that back down. And like I said, these are called Dutch potatoes. Let's get that. Alrighty. So, I gotta let these get nice and brown. I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley in here. I'm gonna put some in my hand because I accidentally threw the top of this away. I do that with a lot of them. There is no really right and wrong in this. You can do it any old way you want. And we're going to put a little bit of paprika in here also. Okay. All right. Let me see something here. This doesn't call for this, but I have some sass in here. I'm going to put that in. That's almost like a paprika. So I'm going to put some of that in there. That's why I've been putting salt in it. All right, so let's put these browning up here. So this is almost stick some cheese and flour. So on this, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on it, but then when I make the one that we're going to do, when I make the other one, we're going to put some flour in that mixture, the cheese mixture. I'm going to make the cheese mixture up. It's going to go into the stove. That's going to go in the oven. This is the original way is what I'm doing here right now, except for the sasu. That's not supposed to be in there. But you are supposed to put flour in it. And get these all browned up. Okay. All right. Let's let them get browned up. I'm gonna turn that on high. All right, so in this here, I'm going to make up the cheese sauce for the way I'm going to put in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I put 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter, because I made this one up. The one I have here is the oven one. It's almost like a cheese potato. It's actually what it reminds me of is macaroni and cheese is what it reminds me of. You know, you can't, it's no right or wrong on the original recipe. You just sprinkle some flour on. It's just enough to help it get, like I said, crispy. So, all right, so into this, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm just going to use one of these. That's a teaspoon that I had out for that. Okay. Let me get a whisk. Let me whisk this up. This you're making a roux like you're going to make a macaroni and cheese is what you're doing here. I'll put the rest of this butter in here. All right. Let me put my candies in there. I have to open up this can now. Actually, in the original recipe, you are supposed to use canned milk, evaporated milk. But I'm also going to use it like half and half. I mean, heavy cream in this one. I have some heavy cream I got to use up, so I'm going to use it in this one here. So I'm going to stick a little bit of paprika in this, just a little bit. Come on. There's a little bit of that. And I'll put a little bit of parsley in this too. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn this down. Let me flip these real quick. See that? I'll show you one then. That flour gets these all nice and browned up. Plus it helps with the water. Okay, I'm going to use that heavy cream in there. And like I said, I wanted to use that up. So, that's the only reason I put that in there. Okay, let me put a little bit more of this in there. This one. I want this kind of high. I want to make sure. Okay. I'm going to turn that down on real low. I'll stick a little half and half in this. And then I got cheese to get out. All right, so these potatoes are browning up here. They're getting all nice and crispy. Trying to get this done. Good. I like to make sure it don't taste like it doesn't taste like flour. I don't like it when it tastes like flour. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in this. And in this one here, I'm gonna make that one, the one I put in there is gonna be the original recipe. In this one here, I'm just gonna put a little bit of Parmesan. All right. Like I said, this one's almost gonna be like a macaroni and cheese. But it's gonna be with potatoes instead. I gotta add a little bit more milk in there. I'm gonna preheat this oven to 350. This one's a new one, so I just bought this one today. All right. Now I'm going to put these onions in with this. Like I said, you can see these really crisping up here from that flour. It puts a nice little, and I'll show you one of them. That flour puts a nice little coating on the potatoes. I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm just going to put a little bit more on there, just a little bit. Okay. Like I said, you just do it by eyesight, the flour for this. Now, like I said, this is the original recipe, so. I'll show you. Let me see if you can see that. There it is, all crisped up. That's the way it should look. So that's with it being all crisped up. Okay. A little bit more cheese in this one. Let me get a spoon. I don't know why I'm using the inside of that dang lid. This needs a little bit of something in it. I'm going to put this back in here. Need a little bit of something in that. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to take these. I have two of these little. I might only make one. I might just leave the rest in there. These are just small little. I'm going to put a little bit more of this in here. And a little bit more pepper, I do believe. Now this one here, I'm not going to add any, I won't add flour to it because I already put flour in all the potatoes. So now what we're going to do is, we're going to take this is a little thick. And I want it thick, but not like that. All right. what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it into the pan, and then I'll put the potatoes on top. I don't know that I'm gonna need all this cheese stuff. So we're just gonna put it in here like this, right with this one. And then what I'll do is I'll put the potatoes on it, and then I'll stick it in the oven for about 20 minutes. All right, let's get a little bit of these potatoes out here. Like I said, I need some for my others too, so I probably should have only done one, and I probably will only do one. Okay. I'll just pour this into there. I'm only going to need one. I just want to show you the two different ways, that's all. That's really what I'm doing it for. Not for anything else, but so I can show you the two different ways you can make it. This would be the baked way. All right, so what I'm going to do now in this one here, see how thick some of them are? They're pretty thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in the oven on 350. That's almost at 350. I'm going to take this milk and I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to take cheese and I'm going to stick on it. This is what you call a Dutch potato. It's like a cheese potato, but they call it Dutch potato. That's what they called it back in the day. I used to love these things. I haven't had them for a long time, but they're really super good. I'm going to put a little bit of this cheese on top of this. This will become real creamy. It just soaks up all that evaporated milk. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Okay, we're going to turn that down. I'm going to get a small plate. And like I said, when I come back, when that another one's done, I will definitely put them side by side. So there you go. There's a Dutch potato. Not much to it. Very simple to make. Like I said, you parboil the potatoes. You can see the coating on the potatoes. You parboil the potatoes about 5 to 7 minutes. You cut them pretty thick. And then you parboil your potatoes. And then after you parboil your potatoes, you take and put them in with butter, oil, whatever you want to use. You stick in with them. Then after you do that, you put some flour in there. You put flour in with it. And then you keep on mixing them up to fry them. This is the original way. What I'm doing there is not the original way. So you fry them up, and then they'll get this nice little coating like this one. I'll show you this one. See how soft they are? Let me see if I can push some of that off. You can see the coating on that, though. How it's fried up. What makes it nice is because they're thick. And then you get all that cheese and everything in there. And after the potatoes get all after they get all browned, halfway through, put your onion in and mix your onion up. Then after they're fully brown, what you do is you take evaporated milk and you just want to cover the potatoes with the evaporated milk. And the evaporated milk, it might look like a lot of milk, but evaporated milk is going to it's going to cook down. So you put evaporated milk in it and you mix that around. And then you, as I did, you take your cheddar cheese and you put that on there. And that makes it just like that. Like I said, when I was a kid, I used to love these potatoes. They were actually my favorite. I wouldn't eat them too often now, but they're really, really good. I don't ever think I made this for Steve. So, but that's it. The original Dutch potato. That's what they call it. And that's about all I'm doing today. I know it hasn't been a real long time that I've been on here, but I will be back in a little bit to show you the other ones. And like I said, I'll put them side by side. I'll show you this one with the one in the oven. They're about the same thing. The only thing is, in this one, I put the flour in here. You can still put flour in there like I did. And then I put flour in here with some butter. And I made like the cheese sauce like you were going to make for macaroni and cheese. And then I put it in my, I knew I wasn't going to need all this. I would have put it in the pan, but I made too much sauce. So I knew I wasn't going to need all that because I didn't have that many potatoes. You're supposed to take 4 to 5 potatoes. So I used about 10. So I put it in one of my little loaf pans just to show it to you. So I took the cheese sauce, put some in the bottom, put the potatoes in, put some more cheese sauce on top, and then I put extra cheese on top of that. And that's all there is to it. I'll be back in about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to also, actually, I might come back in a little bit so I can show you all. I'm going to reheat up I bought some pizza the other day, and somebody says, how do you I put mine in the microwave. I say, well, we always put ours in the oven. So I'm going to come back and heat up some pizza. So I'll come back when I heat that up. I'll come back and I'll show you the potatoes in the oven versus these potatoes. And that's about all I have today. I won't be here tomorrow because I work, but I will be back on Saturday. Saturday, I think I'm going to make a shrimp pasta. I think. And maybe some ranch chicken salad. Because Amanda doesn't eat pasta. She don't eat shrimp. So I think I'll make the shrimp pasta and now make some chicken salad so she can have some and Steve can have some for his lunches. So other than that, everybody stay blessed. Have a good day. If you're coming back in about, I'd say about 20-25 minutes, I'll see you then, about 4:30 or so. If not, have a good night and don't forget you are loved.